Um, Liverpool versus everybody. I'm here with Mame. Mame, how's everything going, man?
Everything is all right, man. Especially after last weekend, you know,
Yeah,
feeling good.
yeah. Very great, very great. So let's just dive into it, man. Without further ado, um, Chelsea came to town. Chelsea were in some decent form. They had started to play some guys I think most of the fan base would have preferred them to play. Hudson-Odoi, Loftus-Cheek, Alonso wasn't playing at full, but so they had everything they needed. Interesting lineup or interesting formation, I should say, by the manager of that team. But just talk to me about Liverpool and I think that lineup that came out, most people were happy with that, particularly the midfield. Naby had done pretty well lately. Henderson almost feels like a new signing, so that was a good midfield. Just talk about the lineup. Were you pleased with that? Did you feel like Genie should have come in?
No, of course I was pleased. If you say it's the lineup we've been playing last couple of games, and I think everybody was satisfied with that midfield. So it was only logical to see them again, and as they performed very very well. That's what we expected, and it was just great, man. All of them very good. Hendo,
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit, my man. Mame, can you hear me? Hello, hello. All right. Well, let me just go on until we can get Mame back. So for me, I was pleased with the lineup. I think as Mame was sounding like he was saying was that most people were looking for that, especially that midfield. I think we all prefer Fabinho to be in the sixth. Um, and I think Henderson, as I said a few seconds ago, as cliche as it sounds, he feels like a new signing. I mean, to be playing in a role where you can tell all of his attributes are being used, every drop of his skill, of his talent. Um, it's just amazing, and to see him celebrate the way he celebrates his assists these days, or anything, is he's playing like a kid out there, and I mean that in the best way possible. You can tell that he's just having a really really good time. He's loving playing with Liverpool. Henderson no longer a brick, says Mercy. Listen, I don't know if Henderson was ever a brick. I think at that six, yes, and even at the six, if we're being fair, he had some games that he was really really good at. He was. They weren't necessarily consistent, and so as Fabinho has come along, it feels like Henderson as an eight is I can't remember him ever being a brick. I mean, he was never the most talented technically, but he works hard. He runs. He's definitely athletic. He doesn't give up. He can put a pass in, as we can see. He can score if given the chance. So, yeah, I mean, Anfred Lark says Hendo seems more dangerous now. He knows the game better with age. Yeah, yeah. The whole thing is that playing that eight, and I think this is part of why Klopp was putting him at that six, is that how long? I mean, how can we depend on him to stay fit for consecutive games playing in that eight position. That because he
right?
was clearly a box to box. What's up, Mama? You back? Good.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry for that.
No problem. No problem. Henderson is clearly that box to box guy. We were just talking about Henderson in the lineup in the midfield. Um, and Naby was that guy that was the outlet if he needed to be. He can go back defensively because we know Henderson can play defensive midfield if he needs to. But as that box to box, the true definition of box to box is that he can be in the box playing defense for us if we need him to slot back, and he can be in the opposing team's box if we need him to make a run to get a goal. But yeah, Mame, Hendo, man, what's up with this latest? I didn't want to call it transformation, but playing in this A role. How good can that be in these last few games, be it in the league or the games that we have left in the Champions League?
Yeah, he really stepped up. He really stepped up, mostly because of the position he's playing now. He's a
Mm-hmm.
lot better in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized is that we've been very, very worried about the squad depth. People were
Mm-hmm.
saying, yeah, City will win because they have a better depth, squad depth and stuff.
Right.
But here we can see that we have players who can play multiple positions
Mm-hmm.
and performing very well at it. So that's just great for this end of the games. Plus Gomez is back. He is a central defender. Can also be a backup to Trent. You know, we haven't seen much from Shaqiri, but I think that he will come too. So
Hmm.
it's just great. It's not only Hendo. Of course, he's been perfect in that role, and
Hmm.
very good. And yeah, it's just a wonderful time right now. Great momentum.
Yeah, it's great, and we all said during this kind of run in, quote unquote, the Tottenham game, the Spurs game, the Chelsea game, those kind of stuck out as the games that would on paper be the hardest games, and we've gotten those out of the way. Now, four more games, and nothing's going to be easy. They'll still have their moments of difficulty in these remaining games with Cardiff. Was it Cardiff, Wolves, who else? Newcastle, and somebody else. Huddersfield, maybe. Yeah,
Huddersfield,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so they'll all provide their different levels of difficulty, but this is kind of the game. Being gotten by Spurs, and this is the game that was really, really going to test us. Talk to me about the tactics that Sarri came out with. Were you surprised that Hazard was playing that 9? Do you think that limited them in what they were doing because he wasn't playing in his right position? And also talk to me about how we were just able to just kind of thug Hazard out the game. We were physical with him, whether it was Fabinho, Matip, whoever. We were able to really just block him out of the game. Just talk to me about the tactics Sarri chose and how we were able to just shut down their best player.
Yeah, even though Sarri used Hazard and that false nine in big games, you know, I was really surprised he did that again because I thought he would bring on someone like Giroud to put somebody on Van Dijk and stuff, you know, so that Hazard could be free. But he went with that, and that was very surprising. And I think that's what happened. You go against Van Dijk, especially Hazard, who's not a proper number nine, man, you ain't doing much. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
exactly happened. There was two walls. First, you gotta pass that wall with Hendo and Fab, who were very strong. Fab was a monster. Hendo was good as well, defensively in the first half, and defensively and offensively in the second half. You know, so he made a mistake. He made a mistake, but I don't think that if he played in someone else too, it would make such a huge difference. Yeah, and they did a very good job on Hazard,
Mm-hmm.
Hendo, as I said, Fab, Van Dijk, Matip,
Mm-hmm.
and even Trent. He suffered a bit, but you know he did very well.
No, I'm glad you said that. I thought Trent was amazing in the game. Some really, really nice moments there. Of course, didn't get an assist, but played within himself. Looked very confident. And it was a day that had some other things going on. Tommy Smith just passed away. It was the anniversary of the '96. It was the whole curse of the Slippy G. There were so many things going into that game. The moment of silence, and you just thought, please let us get over the line today. Let us get a win. Let us not succumb to some kind of situation. And of course, there in the game, Robertson slips but gets back up and nothing happens. And it was good to hear Klopp talk about that in the post match because not that you or myself were necessarily thinking about anything like that because that was some time ago. And we can tell this team is much different from that team. All due respect to that squad, as good as they were, Steven, Gerrard, and all that. But it was just good to really see us make a statement. And you got to believe that City's on the other side, whether they're saying they're watching the game or not, they ask the coach, they ask the players. You got to believe that they're thinking, man, this team just won't go away. And that for me means so much because this team just keeps fighting. They keep fighting. They never know when they're out. And the goals that we got were amazing, of course. Also during the week, the whole thing about the Salah being a bomber and things of that nature. To see
Wow,
both
but yeah,
to see both Muslim players get the goal to win the game is, I mean, that's just poetry in motion as the song goes. So really, really just proud of that. But again, I got to go back to Fabinho. I mean, the way he has this way of tackling that's just, I mean, he's probably one of the best tacklers of the ball I've ever seen because he makes the player feel you, but also gets the ball clean. And I got to give respect to the ref because the ref really, really let both teams play. There were a lot of tackles out there that another ref might have been calling them ticky tack, yellow cards, red cards, maybe even. But I think that he allowed both teams to play, and that really benefited our players like Fabinho, who likes a nice strong tackle and to try to take their best player out of the game. So I think that's something that we got to shout out. A lot of times we complain about refs, but I thought he was really, really good as far as letting the guys play.
Yeah, but Sarri thought otherwise. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's
yeah,
why he lost. So of course, he's going to be a little salty.
yeah. Of course, of
I
course.
think I read somewhere that he thought that they didn't deserve to lose, and I just didn't know what
No,
that
no, no. He
what
didn't
he's
say
talking
that.
about.
He said that we deserve to win.
They deserve to win. Okay, whatever the case, but
Yeah.
I don't even know how he sees that. I don't know how he saw it that they deserve to win. That didn't make sense
No,
to
no.
me.
He said that
Oh, he said
Liverpool
Liverpool did.
deserved to
Oh,
win.
okay, okay. I don't know why I thought I read somewhere that he said that they didn't deserve to win. Maybe that was another coach, but I think with that being said, we kept Hazard at the game, but he still had, in my mind, three chances. And and
Oh,
and
of course.
he's always going to find a spot to do it. And the fact that I think us being physical with him, really threw him off his game because those chances 9 times out of 10 he hits, in another game. So just overall, I just can't say enough about how much we were able to neutralize him, and how much we've been able to do that against top players most of the season, in my opinion, especially in the Champions League with Lewandowski and things of that nature. So just really proud of the boys that were able to put in a really good performance. Another clean sheet because it felt like for a while we forgot how to get clean sheets. So that was really good to see. Uh, so just talking more about the game, I think it talking about the front three, man. I mean, all three of them put in an amazing amount of work. Just talk to me about what you saw and Firmino, particularly, and just guys like Salah tracking back. It's how it just seems like this team is together on every situation. There's no kind of missing links.
Yeah. And just before we go further, I just want to talk about Salah, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and we've seen a lot of change recently, and that's what I was saying. Like it's good. I mean, having a rough patch for a player is sometimes very good because it helps you develop some other aspects of your games. Like if for an offensive player, of course you're gonna have to work defensively, track back and everything, positioning, and that's what happened to Salah. Like lately we're seeing him tracking back, making some tackles, doing what he has to do, and that's just great. And when he's on form again, I hope he is. I can see he is, of course. And that goal he scored, that was just crazy, man. That's what we want from him. That is what we
Mm-hmm.
want from him. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, offensively, those guys were crazy, man. Firmino,
Mm-hmm.
Firmino. I don't have the words. I don't have the words. He was doing everything. He was
Yep.
everywhere.
Yep.
Physical, technical, and his positioning. He was just great, man. It's
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
really hard to pick up a man of the match for this game.
it is, but I think I'd go with him because I just think his work. He was back in vintage, Firmino form, doing all the work, tracking back, getting in guys' faces, trying to facilitate things, making passes. He's one of those guys that his performances can go way under the radar because he might not be scoring every game, but the work he does and this is why Klopp, you know, um, persist with this guy. This is why every summer, we could talk about getting, more strikers, things like, or more number nines, but I just feel like Klopp is always going to stick with this guy for a minute because he trusts him. He knows he's going to get from him 9 times out of 10. He's going to get that same kind of performance, hard work, just really scrappy. So, yeah, I think the front three just worked really hard. But yeah, Salah, to hit a shot like that in a game like that, all that happened throughout the week, you can't really say anything about that. And it's really good to see Salah, who looks like he could be kind of coming right into form right when we need him, or right when we can use him, I should say. And also Mane. Mane is it's Mane's best season so far in his career, and I'm just happy that he's
Yeah,
doing that
yeah,
with Liverpool. I think we might be the most fit team in the league. I mean, to see these guys run, and I think it was obvious that Klopp told the guys, "Look, when the ball goes out the bounds, go get the ball, put it back," because they were going to try to time waste. They were going to try to do that and milk the game, or sorry, waste time so that could be in their favor. But I feel like there was a moment, particularly where the ball went out and Keita went to go get it and set it back in the field. But I just thought it was just an amazing performance, especially in that second half. Even in the first half, as frustrating as it was that we didn't score a goal, I think the chances were coming, and you can see that as time went on, Chelsea would open up and we get the goal. And that first goal with Mane was a complete team goal. The back heel from Firmino, which goes, missing a bit because it's really about that pass and then the header from Mane, but the back heel, and then it somehow gets back to Henderson. Henderson has the frame of mind to lift it up like that, and Mane hits it through. It was a thing of beauty to see. So yeah, just proud of this team, man. We've come a long way, and it's still frustrating to sit back and think we can go this whole season with one loss, and that still might not be enough. So I got to ask you, are we winning this league, my man?
Frankly, I thought we would win this league since the first game against City when Mahrez missed that penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I thought that miss was would have a lot of effect at the end of the season. I truly think we'll win this league. I do, But if it doesn't happen, I will understand because, like as you said, only one game. I mean, for now, I hope it's going to remain that way. Only one loss in the season. We have to win this.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it'll have to just be City being perfect to the end. I just don't see Liverpool losing in the Premier League anymore. This team is just they know what's at stake. They know what their ultimate goal is, and I just can't. I don't see a team knocking us off. I don't see us dropping points. I don't see us losing points altogether. I just see us, getting max points to the end of the season. And I think now that the pressure is on that other team, because on paper they have some harder fixtures. But like I said, we got to worry about ourselves because if they do drop points, which I think they will, we have to be there to capitalize and do our job. So, yeah, going into the Chelsea game, it was definitely some nervous energy, and I think, like I said, even in that first half, at halftime, clearly they got themselves together. Came on the second half, and they were just on fire. Now, Gini had a rest, which I think was a much needed rest. You got to believe he'll play against Porto in Portugal. How important do you think it is? Obviously, he's a really important part of our midfield. How important do you think it was to get him some rest and still not feel like we had a drop off in the midfield?
Yeah, of course. That's what I was saying earlier about the squad depth.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's really good. It's really good because Gini is for me, Gini is not a sub, at least not for this season.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, before the season started, you would think that he would drop on the bench because of Naby Keita and Fabinho coming in. But this season he has been playing a special role in that midfield. He played almost all the games, I think, except these last 2 or 3 games. So him coming back, it can only be positive. It can only be positive.
Yeah. I think again, I can't spring his name up enough, but Joel Matip has just been a revelation this season, and I think the fact that I think a lot of us were really really worried when Gomez went down, Lovren couldn't seem to stay fit. We're really wondering, who's going to step up, and Matip was a guy who stayed fit or was fit enough to come in and play. And he's been just amazing. And I think it was good to see him get a rest in the first game in Europe and then come back strong. It just feels like we have no weaknesses in this team. It really doesn't. There's still moments of communication between Van Dijk and Alisson that's really kind of frustrating me. I don't get why that's still an issue. There was a moment in the game against Chelsea. It's still happening. I don't get that. So that needs to be cleaned up. But I'm probably nitpicking now, maybe being petty, but it's just certain things like that I want to make sure we have that cleared up because we don't want to. And again, the goals we've conceded this season, we probably could have broken a record for the least amount of goals if we just didn't make some of these mistakes that we made. A lot of the goals we conceded were, goals, and that's how most goals are scored, by mistake. But you know what I mean? Like we made mistakes that we didn't.
But not obvious mistakes. Easy mistakes like that.
Silly stuff like that shouldn't have happened. But again, good.
And I think that Alisson doesn't want to use his hands most of the times. He just want to, make a fast play or something like that, and he just sometimes just catch the ball.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because that was one thing that I think we all, if people were looking at him before he came to us, when he was at Roma, That was what the people said. He does a lot of punching, and sometimes the punching goes right back into play. He did that in the Chelsea game, but luckily this time when he punched it, there wasn't really many blue shirts in the area. So he's a great keeper. We know that he's a bit of a maverick. He's still young. People forget that. So it's amazing that he had that one season at Roma, and now people are starting to see how great of a keeper he is. Maybe kind of similar to Salah in that way, although we probably saw flashes of that at Fiorentina, and then Roma, and then all of a sudden come to Liverpool and they're amazing. But the running again that this team does is unbelievable. It doesn't seem like anybody gets tired. They just keep running for the team, keep fighting for the team. It's just amazing. Like you said, it's pretty hard to find a player of the match in this game because I just think everybody really played their job or did their job and probably more. So I think that's Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think that's Chelsea squared off. Let's move on to Porto briefly before we get out of here. And I just want to say, is it pretty safe to say that this tie is over? Do you think there's anything we need to be concerned with? I know they have some players coming back, Herrera, Pepe. How do you see this game going in Portugal?
Come on, man. This tie is over, man.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm being overconfident or disrespecting Porto, but I can't see them getting something out of this game.
You can't. Okay.
No, I can't. Yeah. It's not possible. That run we in, that confidence, that winning mentality. I don't think they will get something out of this game. And even Porto, they know that it's over, man.
Mm-hmm.
Last year we went to the crib, beat them 5-0. They came at us. They knew they couldn't get anything from that game too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
No,
are you as confident to say you would maybe make a few changes? And if those changes, if there are changes you would make, what changes would they be? Like, for instance, would you sit one of the front three and maybe put Lovren back in? And talk to me about it.
I think we have other games to rest players. Champions League is always about statement. If you can beat a team 10-0, you do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't really think maybe bring in Gini or maybe bring in that Joe Gomez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. It looks like they've been doing pretty well playing behind the scenes, and they look good. Even to say Ryan Brewster is looking like he's coming back soon as well. So I'm hesitant with those guys, especially Gomez and Alex, because they're both still so young and they both have had so many injury issues. And I just worry about that. I mean, the doctors know more than I know. The manager knows more than I know. So if they think that he gets a green light, then cool. But I'd be a little concerned with playing them. I don't know if the guys in the comment section think, but
and
take our time with bringing those guys back.
And for the front three, I think it's good to let them keep playing. Because they're in a good momentum. Maybe you can play someone and then rest him after 70 minutes or something like that. But they have to keep playing, man. This is a run, and they have to score. They have to put in good performance. Make up their stats because all Europe is watching.
Yep.
Yep. So let them be there.
So you think we pretty much got one foot in the semifinal?
Man, we already in the semifinal.
No, man, I like that positivity.
Come on.
Yeah. No, I think if there was one thing to be disappointed about in the Porto game, it would be that we didn't get more goals. They had some chances, they didn't make them, and that's good. If they had an away goal, this would be a whole different tie, I think, especially with only having a couple goals. So, but yeah, I think it's over. I think, like you said, this momentum is of a high caliber, and I feel like no one's going to stop Liverpool. If we get stopped in either of the competitions, it'll be us stopping ourselves, and I fully believe that. There's no team that I fear. I mean, I feel like we got to the final last season. We're probably 10 times better now. Just having the same.
Exactly.
I just feel like we're on a roll, and I just don't think we can be stopped. I just don't. And to see the crowd, singing most of the game and backing the team. It's just really good to see the spirit and this journey. I mean, people talk about journeys last season, but this one is particularly special. Our great defense. We've only lost one game in the league. People said that we were struggling in Europe, and we're back in the quarterfinal. It looks like we're pretty much back in the semifinal. So, just really enjoying the journey this manager and this team has taken us on. I mean, it's just been really, really, really special. And you think back of the team that we had when Klopp came in, and I mean, it's amazing how he's kind of sculpted and put together this team to really, really be one of the elite European teams. It feels almost funny. I got to pinch myself to say that because I feel like for so long that was so far from the truth, and now we are one of those teams that, you know, I mean, teams just don't want to face. They just don't. They don't want to face us. And when we're in form, and even when we're not in form, that's the thing. We don't even have to be in form, but we find ways to get wins, as ugly as they may be, as scrappy as they might be, as lucky as they may be, whatever the case may be. We're getting these results, and it's just a really, really beautiful thing to say, to see.
We're winning in any kind of way. We're
Yeah.
winning ugly, hard, sometimes comfortably. So yeah, that's the thing, and I think that for the opposition teams, that's what's scary,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't really know how to how to how to play against us.
Mm-hmm.
Last year it was simple. You just play a low line, and then you let us play, then you counter, or you wait till the last 30 minutes and you start playing. But now there's nothing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
There is absolutely nothing you can do. We can play any kind of way.
Yep.
If you play a high line, we kill you. If you play a low line, we keep the ball. You know, so that's it.
Yep. And I think,
That's
I mean,
it.
it's,
We
you
we
know, good.
we went to the final last year,
Mm-hmm.
Champions League. We were
Yep.
playing really good football. But this year, as you said, we got better players. The squad is better, and the players we that stayed, most of all of them, they improved
Yep.
too. So it's only logical.
Yeah, and for the longest time, people were talking about the lack of Plan B, and Jurgen Klopp is clearly showing. Jurgen Klopp with his staff, Pep Linders, obviously, and that's why, because even in the Chelsea game, you can see the press was there, and there's some games we don't see a lot of that, and Klopp has chosen to go for a more conservative maybe situation, but it's good to see that if we need to pull it out of our pocket, we still have it. It's not like we've lost that sense of pressing, the gig. I mean, the serious, choking gig and press. We haven't lost that. So whenever we want to pull it out, we can pull it out. But we also have a different way of playing as well if we need to. So that's just big, man, to see Klopp maturing over the years and understanding that, in England, you got to play differently. And even in Europe, and so.
Yeah, and if you see that intense agent pressing, we haven't used it a lot, but we use it when we really need it. Like the
Mm-hmm,
first time we really used it this year was against Napoli,
mm-hmm,
the second leg.
yep,
And it was just crazy. And same yesterday, after the yeah, the second half,
mm-hmm.
the beginning of the second half. I don't know what Klopp told them, but those boys were unleashed.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the first half is so much about in a game like this, and the commentators here in the U.S. were saying, in a game like this, you're filling each other out. I would have preferred us to get that over with in the first 20 minutes, but okay, it's fine. You go into halftime, you see how you get at them, and again, they were playing on the counter. A team like Chelsea has no business playing that way. But like someone said in the comment section, a lot of attacking teams they play scared against us, or they play not to lose. If they can get a draw out of it, great. If they can catch us on the counter, set piece, whatever. And they had some brief moments, but they didn't really have much. They didn't really have enough joy going forward. And so, if you just think about that statement, the fact that Liverpool can have teams just playing a whole different style when they play against us, that's pretty big, man. That's a statement. That's a statement that teams just don't even.
Yeah, that's a big statement. Look
They
at
can't,
City.
they can't even be them. Yeah, they can't even be themselves when they play us. They got to be somebody totally different and just hope that they can get a victory. Look, I'm gonna say this, and people might think I'm crazy. The game we lost to Man City, I thought we were a better team. I thought we were the better team that day, and they got that goal at the end. And it is what it is. But and to have one loss and it only be against them, that's not bad. Every other top team we've beaten, drawn, or got the double over, or whatever the case may be. So. I mean, this team is just really, really incredible. And anytime people count us out, whether it's our own fan base, anytime, even me, when I'm watching the game, if I have doubt, they continue to prove me wrong. I got a question for you. Who's not
Hmm.
that it matters? I'm just curious, and this is not a debate on who's a better player, but Chelsea, the first game, Sturridge this game, Salah, which was better, and what do you think was more? Which was the more important goal?
Wow, it's really hard to say. Of course, it gotta be Sturridge because if Sturridge didn't
Mm,
score, we lose that game. And at
uh-huh.
the timing,
Hmm.
he scored at the last minute.
Hmm.
You know, and yesterday Salah's goal was very important as well. But we were already 1-0 up. We were on a good momentum.
Hmm.
Of course, he killed the game. That shot was demoralizing for Chelsea.
Oh, no
You know,
question.
but
Even though they had a small little spell after that, that I was thinking, come on, Liverpool, don't let this
yeah,
quit. But they
yeah. But
never
Sturridge goal, if he didn't score that right now, would be like what
I think it would just be 1 point ahead of
1 point
City.
ahead of City.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's massive.
yeah,
That's massive. So, and I agree. That was the same way I was going to go with it. Both great goals, but even for me, the left foot from Sturridge into the right corner. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I think we also benefited from nothing to take anything away from Salah, but I think Kepa is probably 5'8". He's a really short keeper. So he was never going to get to that shot. But I mean, it's funny because Salah usually curls those from that, but that one he just unleashed a missile and that dip right before it goes in. I mean, I can watch that goal over and over and over again. And whatever happens this season, that'll be a goal that I think.
and that is that was really good in that game because it seemed like the only way we could score that we were trying to score is to get into the box, make those fast plays, everything. But
Mhm.
the fact that Salah scored from outside, from
uh,
far, Chelsea was like, wow, these guys can do this too. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. I mean, at that point, I think, like you said, it really demoralized them. They not that they quit playing, but I think they were kind of like mentally like, all right, our hands are up here. I mean, this team is, we're trying to throw what we can. We thought we had a game plan to play off the counter. That didn't work. They're scoring goals because that was like I don't think there was many minutes between the Mane and Salah goal. They were pretty
no,
much 2 minutes
it
away from
was
each other, right?
I
Two,
think it
three
was
minutes.
2 minutes or something like that. It
Yeah,
was really fast,
yeah.
you
And then I
know.
think even after that, there was another chance from someone could have gotten a third one, but yeah, I just felt once Liverpool get that goal, you never can count them out for getting more. They just get so hungry, so greedy, and they just hunt. They just hunt in packs, man. Even Naby a lot in that game. There's a moment where N'Golo Kante, who for me was pretty quiet throughout the game, had some moments as he always does, but didn't really have he didn't really have as much of a imprint on the game as he usually does for Chelsea. But there was a moment there towards the end where Naby, ran Conte down, got the ball off him, and that was a moment where they could have sprung a counterattack on us, and they didn't. So yeah, I mean, I could talk about this Chelsea game all forever because it was just so
All
many
day, yeah,
so many
yeah,
key moments, key points in
and
the
and
game.
and just about Keita and Kante, I was really eager to see that matchup, and I
Me
think
too.
that
Yeah,
Keita did very, very well.
very
You
good.
know,
Because people were
yeah,
comparing him and all that and saying, before he came, but I thought he did. I don't think Keita went hiding. I think, Klopp probably thought, okay, that run that he gave him, played pretty good, then snatched him out, put him back in. I think Keita probably will get a lot of games for the rest of the season, whether it be Champions League and the league, because he does have fresh legs. He hasn't played consistently over and over and over again. He spent a lot of time on the bench, maybe making cameos, making small appearances towards the end of the games, but I think Keita's got a lot of energy to burn. And like I said, Genie is not done. He's still got his wheels running, but he's played a lot of football, and so I do think he'll play in the game against Porto because he has been sitting for a while. I do think even Lauren might come back in the Champions League. Maybe see a Gomez. I think Klopp doesn't want to, if he doesn't have to, doesn't want to play Trent. Um, so many minutes towards the end of the season. Then again, I think Trent
yeah,
is
and
able to do it. He can do
and
it.
it's true. Porto are very physical too, so I
Yeah, yeah,
think he
yeah,
might be really cautious.
yeah. So, but no, we're looking good, man. We're looking really, really good. And I do see us finishing this season really, really strong and having some silverware to speak for. So give me a score prediction in Portugal, and just for fun, give me the people who score the goals for Liverpool.
Wow, I'll go for 2-0
Okay.
or 2-0 or 3-1,
Okay.
and I'll see all the front three get on the score sheet.
Okay. Good. Yeah, yeah. I think a
At
2-0.
least at least two of them. Yeah, At
Yeah, I
least
mean,
two of them.
we scored just one goal there is probably good. We scored two, the game is totally over. So hopefully we can get that in the first half, and it can be. Look, I appreciate that games like this where we don't really have to be nervous. I like to just sit back, enjoy the game, maybe have a beer, maybe not even pay attention to the game, talk to somebody at the bar. I like to just be able to relax during a game because we're not going to get much of those for the rest of the season, even in the league. I mean, people are talking about how easy it's
Exactly.
running. These Newcastle, these games could be tough, man. Tougher than we think. We probably thought the Fulham game we were going to score 8 goals. That was a struggle. So
Listen, Premier League, all the games will be tough. Don't
that's
worry.
it. See, this is why I don't.
All of them.
This is why I don't know why people even have an argument or question of what the best league is. I don't get that. I don't understand. Like if you're talking about technically, people say technical ability, skill. They'll say La Liga. Okay, fine. But the best league all the way around, competition, the pace, the physicality. I just don't know how people even have the competition, the conversation of what league is best. Do you agree, or do you feel like?
Listen, La Liga had Messi and Cristiano
Oh
Ronaldo.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
everything those people do, people will be just like, wow, they are so great, they are so great.
yeah,
But
yeah.
now that Cristiano left, if Messi left, who is gonna watch the Spanish league? Let's be real.
Yeah. That's a great point,
Apart from
actually.
Spanish people,
That's a great point.
you
That's a great
know.
point. Yeah.
Now, even Real Madrid fans don't watch Real that much anymore because Cristiano is not there anymore.
Yep.
You know,
So I think
imagine Messi leaves.
yeah, I mean, I never even thought about that, but I agree. I think if either one of Ronaldo's already gone, but if Messi were to leave or when he leaves, unless they're getting more superstars or so-called superstars in that league, even then, they're not going to be in the level of those two guys. So once they leave, you're right. I mean, I can't see the league as still being that kind of grab for attention from people unless you're in Spain or unless you're a different country, but you support a Spanish team. But but yeah, man, just looking forward to the run in, and I think so. We're on tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay,
tomorrow.
and then at the weekend, another Sunday game. I hate waiting over the Sunday, but it is what it is. We got Cardiff City on Sunday. Is that right?
Yep, Cardiff.
Okay, okay, yeah. So we can get past Porto, hopefully without too much stress, without any injuries. That's another key thing. Hopefully, no injuries.
Yeah, injuries. Yeah. Oh man,
I
I don't
hope
even
Henderson.
want to think about it.
I mean, when's the last time people were worried about Hendo being hurt? That just shows you how much people are like, okay, I'm on the Hendo bandwagon. And really, let's be fair. It was for me at least. It was really just about him playing at 6. And yeah, he had some decent games at a 6. But once Fabinho got up to speed, I think we all wanted Fabinho to play there. But we never really questioned Hendo playing in the role that we saw that he played the best in that season. So but yeah, I mean, no one can knock Hendo, and as much as people do knock him, we got to make sure we're getting him credit when he's playing well. So hopefully that knock he got against Chelsea isn't anything serious. And but yeah, that's my biggest concern. Not really worried about Porto, really. I'm more so
Yeah,
concerned with the
I
injuries.
thought that I read somewhere that he wasn't serious.
Okay,
So it
okay,
was just a small knock, it wasn't serious. And yeah, and what's crazy is I realized it today. We in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. We win the first leg 2-0, and people are still disappointed. Can you imagine?
I know.
Whoever we play against,
Yeah, that's a very true statement.
you know,
But yeah,
that's crazy.
we get past Porto, get ready for Cardiff, knock them out the way, and just keep swinging, man. Just keep hitting them, keep fighting all the way to the end. Again, if that other team wins it, fair play to them. If they really win all of their remaining games in the league, there's not much you can do. It'd be disappointing, but hey, it is what it is. But this team still, I'd still be proud of this team because you can tell that we're still developing. And we've said it before, but any other year we would be, way ahead, and we would have won easily. Probably by January, we would have won. But because there's another really good team in there, it's a little bit more difficult. But it feels like all the stars are aligning, man. It feels like this could be the season, and not just for the league. I think there could be a second trophy this season. So as long as the guys keep fighting, we don't suffer any unfortunate injuries. I just don't see why this team can't accomplish on both levels. Just my opinion. I don't see why we couldn't do it. So
yeah, we just have to keep going, man. We just have to keep going.
yeah,
And
keep
as you said, we can win two trophies. So yeah, I think that the players they want to win both. You know, most people are arguing, yeah, Champions League, Premier League, but the players they want to win both of them. You know.
yeah. So but yeah, man, that was a great chat, man. I'm eternally thankful, man, for you always making time. I really appreciate consistency with that, and always being able to count on you. So I appreciate that, and we will get back after the match tomorrow, sometime
Yep.
before.
After the Porto game.
Yeah, if we can get on after that, that'd be great. But definitely before Cardiff, doing some recap, some review on the portal, and then kind of a build up to Cardiff. I want to shout out the comment section and thanks everybody for the patience. I know I haven't been able to pump out videos as often as I would. I explained the reasons for that, but we will definitely try to do more of these, and I'll try to make more just videos on my own when I can. But thank you all for continuing to stick with us, leave comments. Still be a really, really big part of what we're doing here. So thanks a lot for that. And Mame, I will speak to you soon, bro.
Yeah. Thanks for having me again.
Of course, man.
Thanks everybody.
Talk soon.